So today I want to story today I want to tell the story of my husband and I falling in love and how I actually called that in and manifested it, because I did in a few ways without even knowing what manifesting was. And that's because we're always manifesting, and you can call it many different things. We're always creating our reality, co-creating it with the universe, even if we don't know it. And so learning about manifesting can be really fun to recognize our power in creating our life. And so before I really was deep on this spiritual journey, before I met my husband, I was already on my healing journey. I had been going to therapy, trying out meditation. I had basically made this decision that I wanted to be able to enjoy my life, because I was severely depressed and anxious, and I could barely get out of my bed to do anything that was beyond what was required of me. And I had come to this place where I was like, I want to be able to enjoy my life. If this is my only life here, I need to just make the most of it. And so that decision led me to start my healing journey for a few years of just therapy, trying out different things, journaling, affirmations. I started just playing with that kind of healing world. And I had started to, right before I met my husband, I think I was 23 or 24, I had started to play with the idea of tarot, and maybe I was open to the idea that maybe the universe was responding to me, but I was seriously doubting it. But I was like, that would be cool. And so I started playing with tarot a little bit. I had an amazing group of friends at the time, and I was having so much fun with my friends, hanging out with my girlfriends. I was starting to really enjoy my life and starting to be a little more open to what if there's a little bit more. But I wasn't fully there yet. But there was still a part of me. So I was going to work. I was working 2 jobs. I was still having panic attacks, but I was no longer severely depressed. I could actually go out and do stuff, which was a huge change for me, but I was still having regular panic attacks. I had an amazing group of friends. I was just having fun for the first time in my life in a really long time. And part of me decided I wanted even more. I remember just feeling this way of just gratitude that I was able to start enjoying life and having fun with my friends, and just feeling this new way for the first time in my life. That's also when I got my snail tattoo. So I got a tattoo of a snail. I've moved I cannot even count, but over 30 times in my life, and I'm 29 right now, over 30 times. My parents were divorced when I was a kid, and so they both of their houses moved multiple times. Since I've become an adult, I've moved at least every single year. It's just this pattern in my life. And when I was 23, I got a tattoo of a snail, to kind of look at me moving. I had always looked at it I don't have a home, I don't belong anywhere. And I got this tattoo of a snail to change my perspective on that. It was this commitment to looking at it in a positive way of I get to be my home, I get to make home wherever I go, just like a snail. So I got my snail tattoo, which I still love it. And I'm so grateful that I was just so committed to seeing things differently, seeing things from a lighter perspective. So I was starting to enjoy my life, still having panic attacks. I was feeling absolutely drained in work. I enjoyed some aspects of my job, especially the friendships, but I was I can't do this. There was part of me that knew I could not live my whole life like this, because I was drinking caffeine to get through it. I was having panic attacks. It was not sustainable for me to have a job like that, where it was taking up so many hours of my week. it was destroying me, and I knew it. And so part of me was like, I have to find some other way of doing things. Like, I have to find some way that I can make money and live where I am not having panic attacks and I'm not completely drained. And I need to find something better. Like, it's just is not going to work. And so in that decision, in that, like, I need something more, I think that is like part of what called my husband into me, because me and him meeting, I really feel like that was the beginning for both of us of like really starting our spiritual awakening and exiting the matrix. And like, that's the power of love, baby. But I'll explain. I'll keep explaining. But I basically made this decision, and this is how manifesting works. This is how the universe works. I was like, I need something deeper. Like, I'm grateful for all of the changes I've had recently to where I'm enjoying my life, but I need to know, like, I need to do it differently. I need something deeper. I want to know if the universe is actually intelligent, if it is magical. I was playing around with tarot a little bit, but I was really doubting. But I made this kind of internal, like, decision. Decision is so powerful because we're co-creators, that I wanted to look for more. Like, I wanted to kind of search and seek and find. I was also at a point in my life right before I met my husband where I was actually content with not having a partner. I actually had gotten to the place for the first time in my life where I was like, I don't need someone else to do this with. It would be fun. It would be fun to have like a partner to share things with, but I don't need it. I got to this space where I was like completely content, just living life and moving through life on my own. And so that was like really powerful detachment. Like detaching from needing a partner. And I think that is when you call in your true partner, is when you really don't need it at all, because you're no longer in that like fill my void energy and then attracting another partner who is like also in the fill my void energy. And then it's like you're both coming at the relationship from a space of lack, and you're both like feeding off of each other's lack. So that, and also my husband and I have done so much healing together. We weren't perfect when we came together at all. Like, I mean, we're human. We weren't like super healed when we came together, but we were in this space where we like didn't need each other, but we get to like work together to go deeper on our journeys. So it's like this beautiful space. And so manifestation also works in the sense that you don't always get what you want until you are actually ready for it. The universe helps you grow and shapes you and teaches you where you believe you're lacking, because the ultimate goal, I mean, it's so multifaceted and multidimensional, it's like hard to even describe, but the ultimate goal is to remember that you are whole in this now moment. And so if the universe were to give you like your dream partner when you're still in that space of like, I need a man, I need a partner, like, or else I'm gonna die, or like whatever, it's not serving you, because it's just reinforcing that false belief that you are limited. You're not complete without this other person. And the same goes for manifesting money or like houses or whatever it is. So I wasn't fully healed. I wasn't fully happy, but I was in a space where I knew I could do it on my own. And I was in that empowered space. And that's when I met my husband on RuneScape. I met him on RuneScape. I would go on RuneScape. I've been playing it since I was a kid. I would go on after work to kind of wind down and talk to people. So it's like a game where you're like a little knight, magician, warrior, and you can like just do whatever you want, basically. It's like a MMO. You can chat with people, you like type and text pops above your character's head. And so I went to this place where a lot of people usually go to just like chat and be silly on the game. And I saw him. He had a giant mustache on his character. And we just started talking. We just started typing out to each other through our little characters. And it was like the most I had laughed in a while. And he told me he was a British man. And he started typing out the song like God Save the Queen. And it was so funny. And I just like, something in me was like, get his Discord, which is like a voice chat app. If you don't know, it's like, it's separate from the game. But like on RuneScape, sometimes if you see a person, like there's a potential that you never see them again because it's like such a huge game. And I had never had this like instantly with anyone of like, get his Discord right now, but like something in me, my intuition, my soul was like, you need to make sure he doesn't like disappear because this is like, there's something here that yeah, we just want to keep experiencing. So I got his Discord. We started chatting on there. We started voice chatting. We did a couple video calls talking to each other. And after a few months, he decided to come visit me in America and fly and visit. And I didn't tell anyone because like my intuition knew that it was like the right move. But like everything that I had ever learned of like, don't meet strangers on the internet, don't meet up with someone you just met, like everything that I had been taught was like telling me not to meet him. But my heart was telling me to meet him. My heart was saying, go for it. And so I didn't tell anyone that he was coming. And he came to visit me. And we had been talking for like almost 6 months or something like that. And then he came to visit. And in the first like few days, we were like, this is different than anything we've ever experienced. Like, I had this feeling of like, I want to marry him. I had never had that with anyone I had ever dated. I never had wanted to marry any of them. I had never wanted to like, I never felt that. Like I had never felt this, and to feel that within like the first day or two, it was like so wild. And so I think for both me and him, our relationship was like, it began on kind of like intuition. And so for me, that was like the start of my journey, getting a little bit deeper, like my spiritual journey. And so we met up, we really like just loved each other, and it felt so right. And so I had like in my mind, it was insane to know that on the first couple days of meeting someone, you wanted to marry them. But I just like, my heart just was like, yes. Like it made no sense logically, but I guess that was the time of me stepping out of that kind of logical way of doing things and into my heart. And so our relationship was long distance for a while. He visited me for a few times over the year. And then I had this pull to quit my jobs, put my stuff in storage, and go visit him in England and stay with him while he finished up his last few months in the army. So after a year of long distance where he'd come and visit me a few times like throughout the year, I quit my jobs, put my stuff in storage, and I flew to England. And that for me was also so huge, like going out of the box of what everything had ever told me. Because I was like working at a vet's office at the time. I was considering going back to school to become a vet. But then also there was that part of me that was like, I can't do this my whole life. And so I listened to that part of me. I listened to that like deeper, quieter, subtler part in my heart and soul that said, I cannot sustain a job like this my whole life. It's just not. It's not going to work for me. Like, I need something else. And so I went against my logic and quit. Stored everything, and I was like, if I don't come back for this, it honestly doesn't matter that much, except for my dog. But my dog was my mom's dog anyway, so she went back with my mom for a bit. So she's the only thing that I really cared about coming back for. And my sister. But like my stuff, I didn't care. So continuing on, I flew to England, and when I was in England, I started truly healing like my nervous system. I stopped having panic attacks after having them. Like I started having them when I was like 14 or something. I stopped having panic attacks just being with my fiance. He was working. We were in the English countryside, so I got to just go on walks. I got to chill the fuck out for like the first time it felt like in my life, where there was no like, I gotta go back to school. I gotta go get this job. There was no like, none of that societal matrix pressure. I had stopped putting it on myself, and I just was like, I'm going to enjoy whatever this is. And then COVID happened, and it was an even deeper opportunity to slow down. And I'm so grateful for it, because it happened and my husband started getting paid to just like be at home. So him and I got to just be in the English countryside. There were all these like silly rules that had nothing to do with health in England, where it was like, you're not allowed to leave your zone every day. You're only allowed to go on one walk a day. Like all of the small like local family owned businesses had to close, but then the big shops were allowed to stay open. It was like so ridiculous. But it also gave us the opportunity to really slow down. Like we were in our cottage in the English countryside for months, where we would just like wake up, have breakfast, read, play games, go on a nice walk in the countryside, pack some sandwiches. It was like, I had never experienced life like that before. And it helped me like heal on this deeper level to where I wasn't having panic attacks. And so it was so powerful. Like this spiritual journey, like all of this with my husband, I really feel started with me saying, I want something more. Like I don't want to like wear my body into the ground for money. I want to know if there's like more to life. Like I had this desire, had this want, I made this decision that I was going to like find some other way of doing things. And the universe brought this experience to me of like chilling in the English countryside. But it started with me deciding, it started with me desiring, and it started with me kind of like declaring and starting to search for more, starting to move towards more. So we chilled out in the English countryside. I started healing my nervous system. I stopped having panic attacks. And long story short, I ended up getting pregnant with our first boy, who's like so, so precious and special. And that in itself was like facing this deep fear and healing. And this is like another story for another day. But when he was born, we had ended up back in America. When my son was born, I had this complete shift. And we had been staying with my family in America temporarily while Liam wasn't able to work. He didn't have his like work permit yet. I obviously had just had a baby. And so that we were both not working, staying with family. I saw my family in the same patterns they've been in my entire life. And I had this newborn baby. And I was like, I need to do it differently. I cannot do this to my child. I cannot do this to myself. I need to find a way to where I never have to go work for someone else again. I can't just like, I can't do that and then call it life and blame my kid for being a burden because they're taking away from the time that I need to go trade in exchange for money. Like, I just was like, I can't do it this way. I need to do it some other way. Something completely changed in me, just like being in that same pattern with my family, with my newborn son. And I once again made the decision, like, I need to go deeper. I need to know if there's more to life. I need to know if there's another way of doing things, because I don't think I can do it this way. And that's when I attracted the book to me, The Untethered Soul, that like full blown made me understand spirituality. It full blown, like, it was a full spiritual awakening at this point. The Untethered Soul, and also the book Get Rich Lucky Bitch, which talks about manifesting money and like making money through yourself and your own business. And I attracted those two books to me, and my life would never, ever, ever be the same. Because from there, I just kept reading and studying and learning, and I am going to keep doing so because I'm here now, I know, for something so much deeper than I could have ever seen in the past. But I had to kind of activate that timeline initially by deciding there's got to be another way. I want something more. I want something deeper. Like making that decision, activating that timeline through my intention of, if there's another way, I'm going to find it. And that's how powerful we are. The universe, it's like, it's this co-creation. It's almost indescribable of like us and the universe, because we're one, but we also are co-creating with it. Like, we are in these kind of like seemingly separate bodies right now for a reason. And so we get to choose our desired outcome by saying, I want this. I want something more. I want to move towards this. Like, we get to literally decide. And then it's up to us to like go after it, to start searching, to start finding those books. Like, I wasn't the one who wrote the books and brought them to me, but I was the one looking on Reddit online, like on the spirituality Reddit, like searching for good spiritual books to read. I saw the titles of those and I got the books and I read them. So it wasn't like the universe like fucking dropped the book in my lap and like downloaded it into my brain. I got the book and I read it. I like decided that. So we have incredible co-creative power, but it starts with us making that decision. And that's manifesting. That is manifesting. And that's going to be all for today. That was the start of my spiritual journey. Now I'm like balls deep in the spiritual journey, and I'm never getting off this ride because it's so good and it continues to blow my mind. But there's more to life, but you have to decide there has to be more. I'm going to look for it. You have to make that decision, and then the universe is waiting to just show you and sweep you off your fucking feet. So I'm going to go get a full English because we're back in England right now. Have a beautiful day. Bye.